Thanks, Tim. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. So first question I get asked is who is Propell? We're the only multi-product financial services platform targeted exclusively at addressing all the finance needs of an Australian small business. And we do it in one simple app. And importantly, we've built our entire platform in-house, allowing us to continue to deliver innovations to our customers and be first to market with those advancements. Now, I'll take you quickly through to some company highlights. Sorry, next slide. A couple through. That was supposed to be on that one. I did miss that. Next slide, please. Through to some of those highlights. As I mentioned, we've been in market for more than 2 years with now proven technology. We're operating in a huge market. There's millions of customers, small businesses in Australia, and with hundreds of billions in loans to those small businesses. And we're demonstrating traction, growing the customer base by more than 30% quarter on quarter. And that's for the last 5 quarters. We've grown from about 300 customers at IPO 12 months ago to more than 1,700 now, and are on a path to end at about 3,500 by the end of the year. We're putting in place partnerships with leading fintechs like Square, Stripe, and Zip to accelerate that growth. And we've invested significant time and resource developing a technologically sophisticated platform that gives our customers a highly automated, 100% digital and personalized experience. It also allows us to launch those new products quickly and cost effectively, and is very difficult to replicate for those reasons. And for those reasons, we have a clear path to profitability through scale of both customers and product sales. I'll now quickly take you through, next slide, some of the pain points our customers experience and then how we address it. So you see here, we spend a lot of time speaking to small businesses and have a number of examples of really common pain points. Now, what is often understood is that operating a small business is difficult, but there are a number of really specific challenges the majority face. They lack financial knowledge. They're very good at what they do, but very rarely does that extend to finance. And they don't have in-house financial capability. They don't have a CFO or finance team to guide them. They're time poor. They generally have 1 or 2 owners who are really stretched just operating the business. And when they do know what they want, what products they're looking for, they struggle to get it. Banks have historically viewed them as high risk and hard to deal with, leaving them with very little access to small business specific product. And because of this, they're forced to cobble together a range of solutions from disconnected services, even using personal bank accounts, cards, and products to manage their finances. And that makes it really difficult to operate, causing a lot of headaches, but also very difficult to unpick at tax time. Now, Propell addresses this by bringing all those solutions together in one place with really simple and fast access they can't get elsewhere. Next slide. Now, just quickly show you through, we give our customers, as I mentioned, access to those products and services that are critical to their operation. And it falls under a few categories. There's financing, so essentially access to capital to operate and grow. Payment acceptance, the ability to accept a wide range of payments and get funds in their account quickly. And insights, and it's something they don't get anywhere else. And that's a view into the financial health of their business, both their credit insights of the owners and the business, but also a detailed breakdown of how funds move through the business. And in the very near future, we're about to launch a small business bank account and card. And that'll allow them to centralize all their finances on Propell and leave that outdated bank service behind. And we can do it all at scale because of due to essentially the high level of automation we've engineered into our platform, which also delivers a number of benefits that are impossible to replicate without this technology in place, including delivering that highly personalized experience. Every customer gets a personalized experience on Propell. We're able to onboard and serve a really high number of customers with very few operational staff. And we're able to do it in one app that allows us to capture really extensive data about those customers to guide the development of our business. Next slide. Now, just back to the pain points and the specific products on our platform that address those needs. So on the insight piece, you see deep insights into their credit, cash flow, and finances. On the financing side, we have 6 and 12-month lines of credit, but we're in the near future launching equipment asset finance and also invoice financing, easy for me to say. Payment side, we have a full suite of payment tools, which serve the bulk of the needs of a small business. And as I mentioned earlier, that small account and card is going to be launched in this calendar year. Next slide. Now, how does that all come together for a customer? What's the experience? So we have an example here. This is Jane. She runs a small plumbing business, just won a big contract and needs funds to be able to fulfill that. Now, she finds us online and can sign up in 5 minutes. And it is entirely online, that journey, with no additional paperwork. at the completion of that 5-minute application, we've done a full assessment, or our platform's done a full assessment of her and her business. And we're able to offer conditional approval for funding with funds available the same day. So she's solving that burning need very fast. But this is just the start of the relationship. We continue staying in touch with Jane. Her funding facility remains active and can be drawn at any time. But we also stay connected to all of the data about Jane and her business and the financial information that allows us to give ongoing insights, but also the insights we gain from that data allows us to help Jane by placing relevant products in front, solve more of her problems, and essentially drive more revenue for Propell. Now, it's important to note as well that this is how the majority of customers come to us. They're not looking for a platform. They have a burning problem, whether it's funding, insights, or payments. They join the platform and then we're able to, and they realize they can solve more, if not all of their needs. Next slide. And I'll actually get you to jump down too, because I'll now talk about the opportunity and the market. Now, when considering the opportunity, it's important to consider the size. Propell's focus, as I mentioned earlier, on a huge market. There's 2.3 million small businesses in Australia. Now, whilst we initially focused on that entire segment, we've come to refine it further to businesses with turnover between 120,000 to 5 million, and there's more than 1.25 in that segment. Now, it's also worthwhile noting the size of this segment globally is enormous. There's 55 million in key Western markets, US, UK, and Europe, and more than 300 million globally. And I mention it, not just as a throwaway comment, but because from our research and what we've seen, that the issues that our small businesses face are reflected very accurately and similarly in those international markets. And we've architected our platform in such a way that we're able to drop it into another market with very little technical development. Next slide. Now, the second piece of understanding the competitive landscape is to look at the characteristics of the business. Now, first, we look at the type of business. Are they small and simple through to large and complex, and think small to enterprise corporate? And the second axis is you look at how they're servicing their needs or how they want to service their needs, and whether that's a bunch of single category products right through to a comprehensive solution. Now, we've found, and they've spoken really clearly, that our segment of the market want a single comprehensive solution to solve the need for the reasons I mentioned earlier, that they're time poor and struggle to solve it elsewhere. And they rank actually speed and accessibility above all other measures, including price, amazingly. So it's less about a race to the bottom on a price and competing there. It's more about what can I solve? Now, next slide. I think you'll need to jump down too, because we'll go to, the divider slide. And I'll take you through the progress we've made to date. We've seen significant growth across the areas of customers, product, and process. As mentioned earlier, we've grown to 1,700 at more than 30% a quarter. We've grown our lending even faster at more than 200% last quarter on quarter, and at really attractive margins. We're broadening those acquisition channels, as I mentioned, to further boost growth, and rapidly growing the number of products on the platform. With a number of launches since IPO, it allows us to sell more product into those customers with essentially zero incremental cost, whilst driving more revenue. And we have, as you've seen, a really strong pipeline of developments that are coming. We've also, and the final piece that's really important, is we've been able to drive down substantially the cost to acquire each new customer over the past year, and continuing to work on it. And that allows both through developing digital marketing strategies, but also with the highly automated nature of the platform, we're able to scale customers 24/7, 365 days a year quickly without headcount. Next slide. I'll speak quickly about the revenue model, because it's often people want to understand. It's very straightforward and well understood. We have direct revenues coming from our lending products and lending margin. And then on the payment side, we get a percentage of the transaction revenue. Now, importantly, these revenue lines grow with each new product that we launch. And we're also aiming to add a SaaS-based premium platform subscription to the product by the end of the year. Now, next slide, please. And actually, again, jump down too, because we'll go to the future strategy. So I guess where to from here? Now, we're focused on continuing to drive growth in those same areas. So continuing organic growth, but also boosting that with the partnerships that I mentioned. We'll continue to add in-demand products, further developing, it actually builds out the usefulness of the platform with our customers, and in turn makes them more sticky, but very focused on delivering on the high margin lending products and that small business account and card, whilst continuing to refine the platform. Even though we've done the bulk of the work of building out our platform, we're always aiming for further automation that allows us to scale. But importantly, you're only able to deliver this type of specialized and personalized service with that technology in place, and allows us to cross-sell more. And we're targeting getting to 100,000 small businesses in 5 years. So I'll just go down again, next slide, just to sum up, our view of Propell. We're operating in a massive market now with proven demand and growth. We're uniquely positioned in that underserved market as the sole provider of this all-in-one finance app for small business. And we're realizing the benefits now of the investments we've made to date in the platform, allowing rapid growth of customer numbers, products, and partnerships. And we have a successful track record of delivering on what we said we would do at IPO, both on KPIs and on product rollout. And finally, have a clear strategy for this next stage. So strategy for product and roadmap to take us through the next part of our journey. Thanks, Tim. I'll hand back to you.
Thanks, Michael. Just a couple of questions. I suppose the question is, what's the sales process and how do you get access to these SMEs, given they are small business owners that are really busy?
Yeah, no, the fantastic thing about our customers, and it lines up with digital marketing, which is also very accurate, is that the type of business that is looking for a solution that's fast is generally doing it online. So we have focused our marketing strategies on digital to date, and we really drove it almost exclusively through SEO, SEM, search engine marketing, search engine optimization, and social. We are finding now, though, as we're reaching this scale, that we're broadening that out to more marketing strategies with a one-to-many through those partnerships with groups that operate with small businesses, but also starting to do some offline activity as we hit this next stage.
And I suppose all your products, correct me if I'm wrong, are focused on financing and lending, and obviously that's how you get paid. What about helping SMEs get paid? I know you highlighted plumber there. They're always struggling to chase invoices and things like that. Are there other products you're going to offer on the platform?
Yeah, well, the payments component of our platform pretty much covers every payment need that they could have. It's from the payment type. So if we think Visa, MasterCard, Amex, buy now, pay laters, those types of payments, they're able to accept all of those, specifically in BNPL, Zip, Afterpay. And then on the how they get paid, they can take it in person with a terminal, they can take it online, over the phone. So yeah, in the getting paid, and that is really important component of this, is don't just throw another loan at a problem when you can actually do it more effectively and efficiently by getting paid sooner. But we find it's generally a combination that a business will use.
And is your competitive advantage here in the actual technology?
100% it is. So the trend and what the customers are saying, they're just screaming, it just has to be fast. And if you look at traditional processes, I mean, I should put it as number one, but no paperwork is actually probably the most important piece. We're able to capture all of their information digitally, do a full assessment, and keep that assessment live moving forward. So we're able to understand their health and understand what they need, but they're not having to send in a business plan, find their forms, take it into a branch and do the whole process. Ours is 5 minutes and funding in a day versus days and weeks with the other options. And that's why we're getting this traction.
And how does that work? If I went to a bank, I'd have to fill out similar forms, wouldn't I, that you're producing that go to the bank regardless?
Yeah, you do. But often, and where it becomes difficult, specifically with the banks, and we've seen this ourselves, that if you're talking about an individual product, they will go and apply for a product. And yes, it's usually a much more laborious process with paperwork included. But additionally, they say, okay, I now want a payment service. Oh, that's another department. You've got to go fill out that form again. So it's not only is it simple in its first go, but we also pre-originate. So if we land when we land equipment finance in the coming months, we'll be going out to our base with a pre-originated, you are approved for equipment finance, click this button and away you go. Not, hey, you now need to sign up again. And that is just a step change in the experience that they're getting from their traditional providers.
And how will the kind of integration with Xero and all those sort of things work? It just becomes kind of end-to-end solution?
Yeah, no, very much. And the platform has been architected. So we already work with partners and we have integrations, and we work with Stripe on the payment side. We work with a number of payment providers. So the platform's built not only to be, and we probably don't explain it enough, what the customer sees is really just the tip of the iceberg. It's what we've built into the platform that is technically quite difficult to build and therefore really hard to replicate, that allows us to not only add our own products more quickly, but when we work with a partner, we have a really solid set of APIs built out that is also very easy for them to plug in. So integrations with, and we're working through getting Xero and the accounting packages plugged in for a number of reasons. But yeah, it's a relatively straightforward technical process. It actually really comes down to more operationally. We're very focused on what the experience is for that customer and essentially propellifying it. Like, how do we make sure that it really fits with super fast, super simple, very easy to understand, and delivers what they need when they need it.
And the business model is kind of focused on taking a small margin from all these different providers, I assume. Is there a plan to have like
correct,
a subscription model for the actual SME?
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier, we're working on that now, what that will look like. The lending is the high margin part of the business. So we are focused on bringing on a lot of that, and it's very high margin in comparison. But equally, as the platform has achieved much more usefulness, we're looking at bringing on a SaaS subscription, essentially a premium subscription that the businesses will get deeper insights into their financials. And we can essentially help them more with that, but also importantly, access to product and better pricing. And we're expecting that in the second half of this calendar year.
Great, Michael. That's all we have time for. Have a nice weekend. Love to hear the Propell story later in the year.
Brilliant. Thanks, Tim.